Well, it's been more than 2 decades since 23-year-old Rachelle Childs was killed. For her family, it's been a lifetime of grief with no answers. All hopes of justice dashed. Now her case is being brought back into the spotlight.
23 years old, with blue eyes, blonde hair and a big smile, Rachelle Childs had her whole life ahead of her.
She was an absolute car nut. Her friends thought of her as their best friend, and as long as you didn't wake her up early in the morning, she always had a massive smile on her face, which was quite infectious, so yeah.
On the afternoon of Thursday, the 7th of June 2001, Rachelle left work and got dressed at home before heading out to a nearby pub.
She rang me and I was on the phone and Rachelle came through on the second line. She said, "Hey, Chris, it's Shell." And I said, "Hey, I'm just on the other line to Ez, I'll call you back." And she went, "Okay, bye." And I forgot to call her back.
Her burning, partially naked body was discovered on a stretch of highway on the New South Wales south coast, 9 hours after she was last seen.
I don't forget anything because it plays on my mind all the time. And all of a sudden I got this flash of a gold and there was a bangle on a hand.
To think that she only lived until 23 and her case has gone unsolved for longer than she was alive is heartbreaking.
In the 23 years since her disappearance, all clues have come up cold. A mass voluntary DNA screening in 2003 throwing up nothing. An inquest naming Rachelle's boss Kevin Carell as the prime suspect went nowhere. Since 2018, New South Wales Police have been reviewing the cold case, but so far there's been no justice for Rachelle.
Rachelle went out to meet someone, we don't know who, and she never made it home.
Now a new podcast called Dear Rachelle, hosted by investigative journalist Ashley Hansen, is shining light into the dark corners of this cold case.
Someone has been walking the streets for the last nearly 24 years. And so justice to my family and for me looks like a criminal conviction with a lengthy sentence. Soon.
So who killed Rachelle Childs, and can a podcast catch a killer?
Well, Damien Loon is a former New South Wales Police Detective Sergeant who is working on the Dear Rachelle podcast. Damien, we've seen podcasts like Teacher's Pet make a difference in cold cases. Do you think this podcast will finally get justice for Rachelle?
Yes, and good evening. And yes, I do. I do believe, because after 24 years, those in the community that withheld information or because of maybe loyalty to others, that loyalty can diminish over time. And now with the advent of all the serious violence against women, in the last couple of years, it's really raised a high point. I do believe that women now have a voice for those and will stand up and let's hope that they come forward.
Do you have an idea of who did it?
Well, that'll be revealed through the podcast. But look, I know the cops who worked on the investigation quite well, and they're very, very good investigators. The coroner, who went to the coroner because no person was charged, his role is to examine the who, what, when, where and why. He couldn't name a person responsible for Rachelle's death. But I do believe that over the years of other podcasts that have been involved, I've been involved with, there will be witnesses coming forward. And let's hope the Crime Stoppers phone lines light up like a Christmas tree.
You say that the police investigation went well, but what do you think during the investigation didn't go so well?
Look, there's some minor things that can be overlooked in time, but during the re-examination of Rachelle's homicide, those issues were clearly identified. There was a little bit of cross-contamination left somewhere with a police officer, but that was quickly eliminated. But at the end of the day, if the police knew who had done this, they would have arrested that person.
Are you hopeful that 23 years later, someone is going to come forward now with that information that you need?
Oh, look, hopefully so. And I firmly believe now that as a community, Rachelle was a loved young lady, popular with a lot of people, and her memory should never be forgotten. And I just hope that the people in the southwestern part of Sydney who know something, who have heard something, maybe even, it may not even be that the fact that they think the information isn't important. Please contact Crime Stoppers, 1800 333 000, and let them know, because I'm sure the New South Wales Police, the Unsolved Homicide Squad, will do an incredible job.
There's an ethical question with true crime podcasts, and I think about myself when I've listened to Serial or Teacher's Pet or watched Making a Murderer, is that quite often viewers or listeners kind of forget there's a victim, forget that there is a family kind of having to relive this and are listening just purely for entertainment, you know, their escape after a day's work. Is that just a necessary evil, I guess, of the fact that you get to publicise the case again?
Well, look, put yourself in the family's point of view. Anyone here that's been a victim of homicide, and I've said this analogy, if you go to a wedding, there's normally 100 people present. That's 100 other victims out there in the community. And it's terrible to relive these memories, but we need to see justice, and justice for Rachelle.
Well, we truly hope that you do get the information that you need. Damien Loon, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you. Good evening.
The new podcast, Dear Rachelle, by True Crime Australia, is available now. Head to our website for more details.